People always like to say it's room for more than one, and it is, but the world don't make you feel like that.
Loren made it on Reality with the King.
People sitting on this couch just because things have gotten real.
Despite everything going on.
What's going on? What's going on?
And I became familiar with you based on watching TMZ.
I applied to a tour guide position at TMZ. So I was on the bus giving tours around Hollywood for about a good 3 years.
And when you got that job, there's not a lot of people of color, especially Black women.
All right, Loren, you talked for everybody Black now. Go ahead. Boom.
So then the Breakfast Club happens.
I bullied my way into getting a guest hosting position. They didn't know me. I had never met or worked with Charlamagne, Envy, Angela Yee.
How did you get the opportunity to even have the day?
The day that Angela Yee announced that she was leaving, there's an interview she did for TMZ. She's like, yo, they don't know what they looking for. And I'm like, and I'm joking. I'm like, oh, they're gonna take a shot on little brown girl on her grind. And she like, don't know what they looking for, shoot your shot. And I told my manager, like, if we don't figure out a meeting, I'm going to that studio. My life depended on it.
When you were offered to be there for the day, was that during the process of them still auditioning people?
I wasn't coming in there like, this is gonna be the rest of my life. I came in there like, this is my PR rollout. This is my announcement that like I quit my job and this is gonna help me get another job.
So when you got the job to be the producer of The Breakfast Club, did that happen during Jess's maternity leave? When Jess came back from maternity leave, did you feel any tension?
Did feel like I had to walk on eggshells. Also kind of felt bad that like I was good at what I did.
Let's have a real conversation. And I see you tearing up.
What you're seeing is like trying to figure it out. How am I gonna make this work? I just left a job. Was I crazy for leaving that job? To like, all I do is get on air and be myself, and now everybody's like, what do you want to do? That transition of life, I was just like, oh, this is God.
When Jess told you to hush and shut up,
my reaction was like, hold the fuck up, what?
But there were moments you wanted to quit The Breakfast Club.
So I felt like the best solution sometimes was just to be like, all right.
There are people who think all of this was orchestrated, that the powers that be really set you guys up.
But she comes from a world of like the reaction and like the emotion, and that's what works on social. I never thought that like I would be the center of the conversation when she was live. And then I clicked on the live and I was like, what the fuck? Like, what is happening right now? That morning I was still tight.
And you're single. You just got a love in your relationship. Did he cheat on you?
He did, but that's not why we broke up.
Did he have a baby on you?
He did, but that's not why we broke up.
Hey Raindrops, before we get into this episode, I want to invite you to join my community. My YouTube community, honey, of subscribers. So please make sure to subscribe to this channel. I love when y'all comment on my posts and my videos about all of my stars hopping on Reality with the King to share their lives. I cannot thank y'all enough, so make sure to like and subscribe to this channel. This is the microphone. So that's the audience you look to right here. That's your camera, okay? You say hi. Yeah, so that's what you do. Okay, Brody? Okay, Brody.
That's right, Brody love bad bitches. Yeah.
Loren made it on Reality with the King.
Oh my God, isn't that crazy?
That's a big deal.
It is. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. Yes.
You know, I'm a fan.
Yeah, when people sitting on this couch, it's because things have gotten real. And I'm just trying to figure out like what you think in my life has gotten so real that I'm here.
Well, you're here because this is your season. This is your season of life.
I accept that.
It's your season of purpose. It's your season of letting the world know who you are behind, you know, the microphone.
Behind the sources.
Yeah, you're the queen of sources.
Wow.
You are.
Okay.
You are a journalist. Hey, Portia. But no, you are really a... As a fellow journalist, I listen, you're doing your big one.
I appreciate that.
And this is to get to know you. And for you to clear the air and everything. Okay, so you ready for this?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
All right.
I would say pour up, but ain't nothing in here.
You said what?
I would say pour up, but ain't nothing in here. I'm ready though. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So raindrops on today's episode of Reality with the King. I am here with literally, she is the talk of the town. Okay? Figuratively and literally, she is someone who we are watching grow right in front of our very eyes. I'm a huge fan of her work, always have been. She is the sheer definition of a journalist. And she is on Reality with the King. Give it up, y'all, for Loren LaRosa.
Woo! I'm here.
Are you nervous?
No, I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous.
How you feel?
I feel good. I just had a couple lemon drops at the hotel down the street.
Okay.
A little burger, a little fry. I'm good. I'm ready.
Okay. You were at the hotel because you were just like eating or you were meeting somebody?
You thought, oh, you calling me
you know it's a hotel.
You thought I was just staying at the hotel just meeting a man.
I mean, a lot of women I know meet their benefactors at the hotel bar alone. Do you know about this?
I do. And I also know about going to certain hotel bars alone so that you can run into that benefactor and keep the vibes going. You know what I mean? Like, that's a thing. It makes it into the group chats, but that is not what I was doing. Okay? That is not what I was doing. I actually happened to be hungry, and when I got here, you weren't here yet, so we were like...
Are you be late? No. What time did I arrive, though?
It was like 4:05.
Okay.
I was here at 4.
You know,
3:57.
I know. I flew to New York for you. My flight landed at 3.
For me? So we going out after this? Because we was been supposed to do drinks from the...
I know. I have to leave after this.
Where you going?
I have to fly back.
To where?
Well, I'm not going to let the world know where I live, baby. I mean, you want the world to like...
See, that's why you do never...
Start sending me...
When we talked about this, you were talking about you need to get outside so you can date and find good people. This is why, because we could have hit the town bad. It's Thursday.
It's Thursday, the happening night.
We could hit the town bad tonight.
I'll let you know my flight changes.
Okay, let me know. I'm serious. Like, you talking about hotel bars? There's some places we could go and have a real good time.
But for me or for you?
The places I go, it's inclusive of all of the things. Of all of the things, okay?
Well, I'm going to take you up on your offer, but no, I'm so happy to have you here. Your name has been all over social media, all over the blogs, all over the world. Mm-hmm. And what is so interesting is you and I are similar in the fact that we are so accustomed to reporting the story and not being the story.
Right.
So before we get into all that, I do want the world to get to know you because there's a lot of young women who look up to you. And I want you to really sit with that. Mm-hmm. There's women who contact me asking me to introduce them to you.
Wow.
Because they need mentorship. So I want you to know, despite everything that's going on, because God makes no mistakes. Mm-hmm. So when controversy happens...
What's going on, Carlos? You said despite everything that's going on, what's going on?
Well, we'll get to that in 20 minutes. But just saying. No, but despite everything going on, you know, your visibility has increased.
Oh, yes.
And I want you to be able to just know that there are young women and men watching you, wanting to know your story. So I want to start there with you because I became familiar with you based on watching TMZ. Mm-mm. And you were the cute black girl in the studio giving Harvey, you know, the...
Hell.
You really were. So like...
But off camera it was all love though, but yeah.
So how did that come about? Like, where are you from? Did you study journalism? Do you have a college degree? Like, let's go back in terms of like your life.
So I'm from Wilmington, Delaware. I did not study journalism, despite what Twitter will tell you that I studied journalism and I did all these things. I actually have a degree in business administration with a concentration in marketing. And I graduated from Delaware State University. Shout out to my HBCU. And my goal was to do a master's program either in business or I was going to go back to school for film, TV, or journalism. I really always felt like there was no point to go to school for journalism because I felt like if you got it, you got it. You can learn on the job. But in making that decision, I got the job at TMZ. So I didn't go back to school.
Did you apply to the job at TMZ? How did that come about?
Yeah, so I was a flight attendant at Delta at the time. I applied to a tour guide position at TMZ. So I was on the bus giving tours around Hollywood for about a good 2.5, maybe even like 3 years. Yeah, like 2.5 years. It was a while. And during that third year, that's why I'm like maybe 3 years, because during that third year, it transitioned into me being on the bus. And then I started slowly working my way into the newsroom because like I knew that was what I wanted to do. So I just started like talking about it more. And I low-key kind of like put them in like a corner. Like earlier I was like, giving Harvey hell, but that was jokingly because I think I'm a very pleasant person to work with. And he would say the same, he's probably not the most happiest still that I left. But like, I was just always like, okay, I know what I want to do. And if all of this is available here, I want to take advantage of it. So I was on the tour bus and I was really good at that job. And, the tour bus takes you around and you stop and you jump off and you talk to the celebrities. But when I would jump off and talk to the celebrities, I was realizing like, okay, my clips are making national news. Mm-hmm. Like I know what to say, I know what to ask. And it wasn't that I noticed that in that moment because I knew I had that before. But coupled with the platform, I was like, oh, okay, like this is like a thing here. So like, how can I like make this thing into something that can sustain me? Because I was working 3 jobs at the time. I was on the tour bus because you could only do the tour bus for a couple hours a day and it's $15 an hour. So, and that's not paying rent in LA. So I was doing that. I was also working, like, they had like other jobs you could do within like the tour bus area or like within TMZ. I was doing that. And then I had got a job at the Abbey. The Abbey in West Hollywood.
The most popular gay bar in West Hollywood.
Yes. I was like, okay, because my whole thing was like, I need to be where I can meet people, where it's beneficial to me and where I can run into TV opportunities. So I was like, But the Abbey was on my TMZ tour and I would see how people would react when we pulled up there. And they had their own reality show at the time. And like, it was just like, okay, I know, like, I just knew, I'm like, okay, they have a certain look, but I was like, they don't really have no black girls. So let me go and see if like, and I had gotten cool with the manager, Victor, rest in peace to him. But I gotten cool with him and he was like such a sweetheart. And I told him like, hey, I just need another job. I need money right now. And he was like, yeah, cool, come on, be a VIP hostess. I think you would work out so well for our VIPs because you know the business, but also too, like, you're cute. So our VIPs will love you. So I would be the person that, like, when a VIP, like, if you came and booked the table, I'll be the person handling your booking, making sure you're sat well, massaging the relationship while you're there. That whole thing. I would need to know when your birthday is. Like, I was always, like, that middle person just making sure that, like, things worked out well for people of stature for the Abbey. On a hostess side.
I should have met you years ago.
Oh yeah, people still text me today, my phone, because my number hasn't changed. They still text me like, hey, are you still at the Abbey? And I'd be like, child, no.
Like, no, I'm too busy trending on Twitter.
I ain't been there in so long, but but shout out to my friends that are still there though, because sometimes I still like I'll pass it along to like the VIP hostess that are there, because you make your commission and your money off of that.
So when you got the job at TMZ, did Harvey approach you? Did you apply for like the position to be a reporter?
Harvey didn't know who I was, nor did he care. I applied via Facebook. It was a Facebook group called Host in LA. And that Facebook group is still active and it works. I applied via that Facebook group. They didn't get back to me for about a month. I was flying for Delta. I was sending my email literally, because when you apply for jobs, it's like just an application you submit.
Yeah.
So what I used to do is I used to go to entertainmentcareers.net in Facebook groups, because they would give you people you could contact, like actual emails. I would email every day. Every single day for a month, I emailed. And then finally they reached out to me. And I remember because I went through training for Delta. I was already a flight attendant. I was, on the line, which is like when you're actually flying.
Mm-hmm.
And my base was Minneapolis. And I just felt so defeated. I felt like, if I move to Minneapolis, my career is over. But if I stay here, I'm stressing myself out so much that I'm going to lose this job because I'm tired. It was just a lot being a commuter flight attendant, even though you could do it. And it was so crazy. Like the day where I was like, man, I'm tired. I'm just going to give in. Like, God, I'm just going to vlog my travel experiences, keep myself in front of the camera. Everything else will work out. I landed. I said that up in the air, landed, and I got an email back from the tour bus people, and they were like, hey, can you come in for an interview? Mind you, at this point, I had already, probably the day before that, or maybe that same day, it was so fast. I had given up my lease in LA because I was going to move to Minneapolis and just fully do this flight attendant thing. I had let the people that, my friends that I was living with know, yo, I'm not staying here. Y'all got to figure it out. The lease is over because it was a 3-bedroom. Y'all got to figure something out. Landed, and they're like, oh, can you call us? And I'm like, I know I'm gonna get this. Like I called my my landlord and was like, yo, is there any way I can get this lease back?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, we actually just showed it and they won it. So like, no, we already got a deposit. And this was all before I did the interview. I just knew.
You just knew.
Yeah, so when I landed, I went home. Mind you, I'm home, but like everybody's packing up, we moving. And I did the interview. It was via Zoom. Or was it Zoom? I think at that time it might have been whatever it was at Pop. It was a video interview at the time, but it wasn't Zoom. It was something else. It might have been Uvu. Who knows? But I did it, and I could tell by the interview that they liked me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get this. So I had started texting and trying to figure out another apartment in the midst of, because they're like, oh, can we call you back in 2 hours so you could talk to our director? And then it was like, oh, can we call you back in 10 minutes so you could talk to our, and I'm like, oh, okay, they're about to hire me. At this point down, though, it's like, I just broke this lease. Where am I going to stay at? So I was figuring that out. They went through all those interviews, they didn't say nothing. And then probably like 2-3 days later, they called me and was like, hey, do you want to take the job? And I was like, yes, like, come on. Sure. And I just crashed with a friend for a little bit and then ended up moving into another apartment.
So being the reporter on TMZ, that came about just you being the tour guide.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you got that job, what was it like being, because I watched the show and there's not a lot of people of color, especially Black women. Because before you was Nina Parker.
Yep. I wasn't there when Nina was there, but when I came into the newsroom, everybody would, you know what I mean? They, of course, would mention her and talk about like the work she did there and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then it was Raquel.
Right.
Van was there also. And then they just left and it was like, okay. All right, Loren, you talked for everybody Black now. Go ahead. Boom.
How was that for you?
I was so stressed out. Because granted, like, I knew I wanted to be on camera. This is really bugging me. I knew I wanted to be on camera and, I knew I could talk and that I was good at what I did. But this was the height when this all happened. So Van, his situation happened and he was no longer there. And then Raquel had her baby. It was like a couple months later, Raquel had her baby. She decided she was going to take a break and not come back. So it was like, okay, Loren, it's you. And I was like, okay, I'm coasting. I'm there, but I'm coasting. And then Ahmaud Arbery happens. And I'm like, oh my God. Like it's literally, it's just, now it's just like, okay. So you have all these people who are like very oblivious to anything Black, to anything that is happening. Like I remember it was on a weekend and I used to work Sundays because I was the newer producer on the news desk. It's like you have to work Sundays directly with Harvey. And you work it directly with him because you learn how to run the full website. So like on Sundays, I'm everything. I'm politics, pop culture, music, wrestling because that happens Saturday nights, boxing, you know what I mean? Like you have to understand everything. So when it happened, I remember he sent the email because he would be watching the emails, but he would kind of step back and let you do your thing because he wanted you to get in the groove of, really he wanted to see if you could sink or swim.
Mm-hmm.
So he sent the email. I sent the email to the news desk and the title of the email, I think I put like modern day lynching or something like that. I just repeated what the outlet who had posted Ahmaud Arbery's video said. Black men killed by white men, modern day lynching. Harvey instantly replied and was like, what's this? And I was like, it's a modern day lynching. Like I literally responded like, that's what I said. And he called me and was like, what is that? Like, what is happening? And I was explaining it to him and he was like, wait, what? Like he when I say he couldn't believe it, I mean like, it was so hard for him to fathom that someone was completely like just jogging in their neighborhood and like people didn't like that and so their life was taken in a way that his was. And for me, it was like, this happen all the time. Like, we gonna cover this? Like, I'm surprised you even care. Like, I was more surprised that he even cared to cover it than about what happened. And when we put it up, the story went so crazy that he was just like, that was the beat. Now it's like, okay. Then everything things just started happening all of a sudden. I'm like, whew. Like, okay, I have to explain. It's like you're living like two worlds. It's like, okay, on one end, it's like I'm this girl who is like working for TMZ, and you know, outward perception is like you're doing so well in LA and you're doing so well in your career, you have everything going on and blah blah blah. But on the other side of it, it's like, yeah, all that's happening, but like I have to find a way to like be the middle person between everything black and everybody black and everything wrong with how the world treats us, and these, you know, people who, not everybody, but a lot of them couldn't even fathom at all. Like, I remember like certain conversations I had, and I'm like, wait, so you don't know nobody that got shot? Like, none of your friends got killed young? Like, none of them? They're like, no. And I remember Devin Rao, he's one of the senior news producers there still. I remember having that conversation with him, and he was like, yo, you say that like it's so regular. And I was like, it's not. Like, this is regular to me. Like, that's growing up where I grew up, that's all I know is like, okay, you either make it out, you get a family, stay out the way, you know what I mean? You doing whatever you can do to survive, or you don't survive. So it was so normal to me. And in that moment, I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be a big task. And I think I dealt with a lot of anxiety, because it's like, if you say the wrong thing, you misrepresenting, and if you don't say something, it's like, how did you let that happen? But if you say something, you walking into work every day, and it's like, here she comes. Oh my God, everything black is coming. You know what I mean? Like, it was that middle space. But I had a really good producer there. Her name is Tawanda. She's still there. She produces TMZ Live, who, like, me and her got really close at the time because she was the other only black person. You know what I mean? Like, I could vibe with her. She wasn't on camera, but like, she got me, and like, I could call her and like break down, cry, like all that stuff. So it was tough, but it built me into like a soldier, like good and bad. Like, I think I got to a point where I was like kind of like emotionless about stuff. And then I got to another point where I was just like, I don't care where I'm at, that's not gonna fly. And I wasn't afraid I didn't care what role I was in, I wasn't afraid to say something, you know? Like, and that changed my life, like not being afraid to say something.
Is that why you left TMZ ultimately?
I don't think that that's why I left ultimately. I think that, you know, eventually you get tired of like being in that space for sure. But ultimately I left because I felt like, I don't know, I just felt like there was no real growth for me there. Like, I felt like there was so much I could have still done because there were so many roles and whatever. But I knew that like I was talented, and I knew that I was talented to a point where like, okay, like this should be making more sense. It should be making more money. I should be able to do more things and own more things. And I know that that comes with like people knowing who you are and being able to build an audience and a following. And their business model around what they do is just not built around building stars. Like, it's not. And I'm like, bro, I'm a star. Like, I got to get out of here. It's now or never. And my mom and my grandmother had, you know, health stuff that was happening. And just medically, me being across the country in LA, it was stressful. Like, I was flying back home, probably like once, twice a week. Like, I was like, I can't do this. Like, I'm calling off of work. You know what I mean? So I was just like, yo, I got to get out of here. Like, I gotta go. The job stuff bothered me first, and I had that resignation letter for about a month or two. But when everything started happening with my grandmother, my mom was cool, but she just needed my support closer. My grandmother, though, it was like she was going through stuff at the time. I was like, yeah, I'm out.
So then the Breakfast Club happens.
That all happened at the same time, to be honest with you. Like, me figuring out me knowing that I was leaving and Breakfast Club opening up, it all happened because I bullied my way into getting a guest hosting position. Like, they didn't know me. I had never met or worked with Charlamagne, Envy, Angela Yee. I didn't know the EP who was booking Eddie F, who was booking everybody for the guest hosting. They didn't know me from a can of paint. They might have seen like, okay, the girl from TMZ, but like, nothing. But I was on my best bully. Like, I was like, okay, I want to make sure that because I wasn't even thinking about it like the job was going to be mine. To be honest with you, I watched the show. I was a fan of the show, every interview, every whatever, because of what I do. But also I just enjoyed the show. So like, I watched it and I could tell from the natural progression of the guest host and how much Jess was there. I'm like, oh, the job is basically hers. They just haven't announced it yet. Like, I already knew that. So when the opportunity came for me to have a day, it was literally supposed to be one day. When that opportunity came, I went in there knowing like, yo, the job is Jess's job.
But how did you get the opportunity to even have the day?
So what I started to do was, being resourceful, I was reaching out to anybody I knew who had ever walked inside of the Breakfast Club. I was sending them my resume and my reel, like, yo, send this to them. So I mean, like, publicists, managers, artists, just homies of theirs, like anybody. And what's so crazy is the day that Angela Yee announced that she was leaving, it was trending. There's an interview she did for TMZ right outside the station. I cold called her and booked that, like, yo, we need an interview with you on your way out. And I just jokingly, I was just like, I was asking her, because I was trying to get the story. I'm like, well, what's next? Like, what's about to happen? What are they looking for? Does it have to be a celebrity? Like, you don't even have to know a name, but just give me a criteria what they're looking for, because that alone is a story right now. She's like, yo, they don't know what they looking for. And I'm like, and I'm joking. I'm like, oh, they're going to take a shot on little brown girl on her grind. And she like, don't know what they looking for. Shoot your shot. And I was like, for real? Like, I'm not a celebrity. And she was like, it doesn't matter. They don't know what they're looking for right now. And I was like, okay. I mean, I didn't know her. I didn't know if that was true. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try. So I just did that, and it had gotten back to me a couple times. Like, people would send me screenshots of their responses, like, yo, we keep getting her resumes and her reels. Tell her hit Eddie, blah, blah. And I'm like, who is Eddie? So my manager did some digging with some radio contacts that she had, and we got in contact with Eddie F, who's the EP. And I flew in town. My mom had a doctor's appointment, so I flew in town. And I told my manager, like, if we don't figure out a meeting, I'm going to that studio. I'm just going to sit there until Eddie F walks downstairs. And she was like, no, don't do that. I'm going to figure it out. I was like, figure it out or not, I'm doing it. So I'm just telling you. She figured it out.
I know that's right, Loren.
I didn't have a choice. My life depended on it.
Nobody hustles anymore because they expect things to be handed to them. And nobody wants to work for shit.
Yeah.
The grind is missing. So how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
33.
The fact that you are 33 years old, and you, obviously this happened a couple years ago, whatever, or maybe a year ago.
About, what is it? Maybe 2 years ago now?
2 years ago. So you were 31. But the fact that you had that as a millennial.
Yeah, I had 2 birthdays since then, yep.
Yeah, to say, I'm going to stay in this lobby until I get the opportunity.
But I come from that, though. Like, I worked in fashion my whole life, and I've interned, and you know what I mean? Like, I've carried garments down Fifth Avenue in a snowstorm because you got to do Christmas returns for Cosmopolitan magazine. Like, I you know what I mean? I sit in a really great space of, like, I come from the generation of, like, we still had to work and intern and do things, but also I understand, like, social media and how you can make things go where you don't got to do all that because they need you.
Yeah, but it doesn't last long. So here you are. It doesn't. Work hard. So the thing with you is the fact that when you were offered to be there for the day, was that during the process of them still auditioning people, or was that when Jess was on maternity leave?
No, that was when they were auditioning people. But again, I told you, even when they were auditioning people, I knew, I'm like, yo, the way that I'm a producer. I work in television, right? So I'm like, the way that they're leaning into her, this is her job. Like, they would not, if it was a neutral situation, if the people in the room didn't have, like, any say-so in it, like, I understood from the outside perspective what was happening. I'm like, the guys have to have a say-so. Obviously, they're leaning in. I thought she was doing a good job. You know what I mean? Like, and I thought compared to the people that had been there, I'm like, some of the people they brought in were like so celebrity that it was like, there's no way. And then some of the people, I just felt like, okay, it works, but like, I don't see this longevity wise. She was and I knew, I'm like, because of their age range, they have to get somebody young. Like, the Breakfast Club, to me, in my opinion, just as a fan watching it, but also as a producer and someone who understood, content and television, I'm like, you can't get someone their age. It's not going to work for them.
Right.
And she was young, and she was, you know what I mean? So I was like, this makes sense. So I came in on that one date. I wasn't coming in there like, this is going to be the rest of my life. I came in there like, this is my PR rollout. This is my announcement that, like, I quit my job, and this is going to help me get another job. I did not come in there like, oh, I'm going to work here. I will say that morning, though, I was like, okay, we're going to show up to work like it's your job, only because I didn't want to be nervous. Like, I had never met them, so I didn't want to psych myself out. And they didn't know that I quit TMZ. They didn't find out until 3 minutes before I went on air, when they asked me how to introduce me. And they were like, can we say senior news producer at TMZ? I said, well, you could, but I quit the job. So say former senior news producer.
So when you got the job to be the producer of the Breakfast Club, did that happen during Jess's maternity leave?
So let's back up. When I was guest hosting there, before it was announced that Jess had the job, we had already been having conversations, like just internally, like, about that there being a need for that. And them seeing that I could fill that role. So that was the plan already. Like for a while, that was the plan. But there was these internal things that like held it up or whatever. And it I wouldn't even say it came to fruition when she went on maternity leave. I wouldn't say that. I think when me coming in and filling in for her was like, that was their way of being able to get me on a payroll of some sorts. But even in and still, like I was solely there just filling in for her. It wasn't until we had internal conversations where it was like, okay, well, you're already here. Jess is coming back. You'll take a step back and go into the senior news producer role that we had been talking about for like 6-7 months. So, I had a great time on air and things were moving so greatly, but I was just like, what am I going to do with it? Like, I'm just grateful right now to be able to pay my bills. So, yeah, sure, cool. I'll take a step back. Let's do that.
When Jess came back from maternity leave and you were still there, did you feel any tension?
I didn't feel tension, but I did feel like I had to walk on eggshells. I felt like I felt, to be honest with you, I felt guilty because I felt like, okay, because I'm here now, things are different and she has to navigate a lot. Like she has to navigate, she just had a baby. Like, and I'm watching it in real time. And I think that's where my empathy for her comes in with all of this stuff is because in real time, I'm watching her return to a job. She's like new mom, like she's pumping at work. You know what I mean? She's trying to figure it out. Like, and everything is changing because I'm here and I wasn't even on camera when she first came back. It was more so just me working with her in the show as a producer. But, the way that I do things because of my background is a lot different than what she was used to. But I think that at the end of the day, she was grateful for structure. And I think everybody was grateful for us figuring out a new structure because it was needed. And that's why the role was even like, okay, how can we figure this out? But I did feel like, that there were eggshells that I had to walk on. And not because anybody told me I had to, but just me as a person, I just felt like, okay, I don't want to be a burden. Like, I don't want to be the reason that this woman is feeling like, because I'm a woman too, so I know how it feels to be in a workplace and not feel supported. I wanted to be more of a support for her than like, oh my God, I got to deal with this for her. And I also kind of felt bad that like I was good at what I did.
Let's have a real conversation, okay? You're there, and all of a sudden, people are like...
It just happened out of nowhere.
We love Loren.
Yeah.
And I see you tearing up. But I want to have a real conversation because I know what happens in this industry when you are given an opportunity that you wanted badly. And baby girl, you were praised to the high heavens. And sometimes when God blesses you with an opportunity, it can sometimes be at the expense of someone's pain. Especially when you're not doing it directly yourself. You're just being you. And I do see you crying. And I want to ask you this. Are those tears because when you talked about you felt guilty just being good, when you were getting praised and praised and praised, internally, did you realize she may feel not so great?
I mean, I think you think about that, like, of course you think about that, but that's not what this is. This is like because that was there, but I didn't focus on that because I know the type of person that I am. And I know that the environment that we're in, like the guys are so like, let's figure this out. You know what I mean? Like it's such a family at the Breakfast Club. And that's what I love about it. And that's why I love being there, that like, I really wasn't too worried about that. I was excited. I couldn't wait for Jess to come back. I was excited for us to work together. I was excited for us to figure it out. I'm like, yo, I come from a platform where it's like, it's just me and they're not letting nobody else in. And I always thought that was crazy. And like, I needed the camaraderie. Like it's so much you deal with when you're on camera and you know what I mean? Like even behind the scenes, like I was excited to kind of have that like sisterhood. So I wasn't worried about that. I think for me, what you're seeing is like, it was just like, dang, like this is all just like really, like it was like exciting. It was just like, this is everything I've worked for. Like, regardless if I was never on camera a day ever, right? Like ever again at the Breakfast Club. Cause I was fine with that. Like I was fine with, like, granted, don't get me wrong. You tell me get on camera, I'm gonna get on camera. Like I'm gonna do what I gotta do. But I was okay with the fact that like, yo, I just did so well. I had so much coming my way. Like when I tell you, I ain't never seen my phone get beat down like that. Like, I mean, any outlet, any platform, from streaming to blogs to radio, like there were so many people, so many things reaching out to me. And I was in a space where I was really just trying to figure it out. So to go from trying to figure it out, how am I gonna make this work? I just left a job. Was I crazy for leaving that job? To like, all I do is get on air and be myself. And now everybody's like, what do you, not even we have this job for you, but what do you want to do? How much do you need to do it? And I'm like, wait, what? Mm-hmm. Like that transition of life, I was just like, oh, this is God.
Yeah. It's nothing but God. It's nothing but God. And the reason why...
I can't believe you got me crying. I've been here for 10 minutes.
No, it's okay. Listen. I'm going to say this to you as your big brother. I know exactly how you feel. And I don't want you to think you're alone in this. I know what it's like to be given an opportunity and then the doors fucking open up.
It's like you work so, like, I don't think people understand. Like, when I say I took risk, I mean, like, figuring it out from nothing. Like, and always feeling like, okay, I worked so hard, but like, what I'm experiencing now, I didn't think it was possible in the journalism space anymore. Mm-hmm. I thought that died after Wendy. I'm going to be completely honest with you, because I felt like there was no platforms that were platforming women like me. I felt like the only way that I could do it was via social media. And that's why, honestly, that was one of the reasons why I left too, because I'm like, yo, I need to get on social and like, just let people see what I can do and just build it. And just like, it's going to be a slow grind. It's going to be tough, but like, at least people can see it and I can like try, and I'll just work another job on the side. Like, I didn't expect all of this at all. So when things started moving, and not only are they moving, but they're moving in a way where it's like, wait, what?
Yes, because God saw the work.
That was like oh, okay. Like, God, you funny.
Confirmation.
Yes. And that's what like, anytime I get emotional about this story, it's just because the way that God came in and was like, girl, I told you I had you. I'm like, what? Wait, what? Like, hold on. And I mean, like, like, I can't even go into detail about some of this stuff, but like the things that were coming my way, I'm like, did you mean to call me? Like, even now, I'll be like, I'll be out somewhere, people be like, hey, Loren, I'm like, how do they even know me? And I'll be like, oh, like, it's just so different. And I think you work just to be able to provide for yourself and be able to, build a certain respect for yourself. And I think everybody kind of everybody wants recognition. But at this level, like, I used to say like, okay, I want to do this and I want to do that. But I don't think I really like believe that in a journalism role, I thought I was going to have to become like an actress, or, you know what I mean? Like, that was the goal. This was supposed to be like my retirement lane. Like, okay, I'll retire and I'll do the journalism thing and have a talk show like Oprah. And then all this happened. I'm like, oh, shoot.
So I want to shift gears a bit, because I want you to be able to address everything without interruption. Mm-hmm. Like Charlamagne and Envy does.
You don't feel like we did that?
Well, in terms of the audience, because I feel like when you guys addressed it, the tension was still there. Let's have a real conversation. It was obviously still a little intense, but I saw the job is mine, and I thought it was a great way of you guys, in this case, you ladies, dispelling all those things, and I was so proud that y'all did that.
Yeah.
But I know that your fans and the people who adore you really want to know how to navigate through situations that they are going through, because you're not the first woman or Black woman to be in a position to where you're supposed to work and coexist and things just don't work out, but things in the end does. So I want to be able to have you address everything, because, look, when Jess told you to hush and shut up, when that happened, as a person, what was your like immediate internal feeling? Like, was that the day you kind of knew like, this is probably worse than I thought it was going to be?
No, that wasn't the day. That's what I'm saying. Like, y'all got it late. Like, it was.
You knew before that moment.
I never, even in that moment, I didn't think that it wasn't going to work because I know myself. It's going to work. The job is going to get done. Period. But I think in that moment, my only as a human, my reaction was like, hold the fuck up, what? But I can't, like, my first thing that I thought of is like, think about where you at right now. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of what's being said to you, think about where you are. Think about what you've been through to get here, and think about the fact that, like, no matter what's said, you're not going anywhere. So when you weigh out, you know what I mean? Like what is your reaction time? What is your, like, what's worth it right now? And also, too, a lot of it is like, I don't think people, because y'all don't see, like, you know, behind the scenes, I think how the team is and how I am. Like, for me, it's like, we might not got to be like the best of friends. You don't got to be anything. But like, if I fuck with you, I fuck with you. Like, if I can be, even if I'm just cordial, if I'm cordial with you, like, I'm not going to tell you it's this and then I'm all the way over here. If it's this is where I'm at. And I had always, because I knew, this is not my first rodeo with this. When I was at TMZ and my mom got cancer, they sat a girl, shout out to Cachet McClay. She's at USA Today. She's killing it. She's a Beyonce reporter now. But they sat a black girl, hired her, and sat her right in my seat. No warning, no nothing. And I had to watch her report every single day from that hospital bed, sit next to my mom. And then I had and deal with people tweeting me about it and commenting about it and all that, and then come back into work, and they were trying to do this, and in that moment I had to figure that out. Like, yo, I went to her like, yo, we not doing that. Like, not in here with all these white people. No, we not. You know what I mean? And she wasn't on that anyway. But so I had already been through this, so I knew before. Like, I knew as soon as. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as I saw where things were going, that was my energy. Like, yo, this is what's going to happen. Let's just try to avoid it. You know what I mean? And like, we have conversations. So I knew that, like, it's so weird because I knew that in that moment, although I was like pissed and it was like, what the fuck are you talking to? It was more so like, that's not even about me. And I can't right now, I can't even take the time to entertain that because it takes me off of the journey and the path that I'm on right now and what I'm focused on. And although she's upset right now and she feels however she feels right now, it's not going to do any good for her because it's not going to get her to the place of clarity that she needs. It's just going to aggravate the situation more. So, you know, I was just using and utilizing, like, you know, the team that we worked with and people that were also witnessing in real time to just navigate the situation best I could because I knew that it was going to come to a head. I think it was one of those things where, like, you know, sometimes that might have to happen. But it's a very unfamiliar space when, like, it's people always like to say it's room for more than one. And it is. But the world don't make you feel like that. So when you're in front of the world trying to show them that and they're not used to it, it's like you're sweeping freaking sand on the beach. Like, and unless you built for it tough, you're not going to realize that. But because I had been on that beach before, I'm like, okay, like, all right, okay. You know, and I had my points of like, yo, I'm not doing this shit no more. Like,
there were moments you wanted to quit the Breakfast Club? Not
quit, but there were moments where I was just like, okay, I'm going to just put my head down, do the work. And let's see what else opens up for me. And if something else opens up, I'm going that way. And if I could still be here and produce, I'll do that. But we're not about to do this. Like, this is work. I have a life outside of this. My career will expand, you know what I mean, beyond this. I'm not doing that. And it was at nobody's fault. It's not like someone set it up for it to be that way. It's just how it happened. But the way that I felt, sometimes I didn't see an end or I didn't see a solution, and I'm a very solution-based person, so I felt like the best solution sometimes was just to be like, all right, blinders on, I'm doing the work. Let's walk on these eggshells and let's figure it out because it's not that deep for me. Like, my bills is paid and I can figure things out outside of here.
And I want you to clear something up because during the conversation that all four of you guys had, Jess did say something that, you know, the opportunity that you were given, she helped provide it. When she was on maternity leave, did they have to get her approval to have you sit in her seat?
Jess said that on air.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how it went behind the scenes. I wasn't there. But I know I got a call and was like, hey, Jess just said on air that she wants you to fill in for her on maternity leave. And so when can you come back? And I will say, like, and that's why, you know, the day that she came back, I thought that like us having a conversation of like, okay, we could do this together. I thought that was me being like, thank you for that, because we had been trying to figure out putting me on payroll for a little minute and it wasn't moving how it should have been moving. But when she was going out and she said that, it was like things picked up. You know what I mean? Because they did have to figure it out. She could have said whatever she wanted to say. And she did be like, yo, Loren is like, you know what I mean? Really good at what she does from what I understand. Because I wasn't there. But from what I understand, that is how it went. But they were trying to get me hired there as a producer prior to that. But what she got on air and said, it definitely sped it up. It definitely made it happen. So I'm grateful for that. But I thought when she said that she was about to go where I think a lot of people lived in and like, well, what she mean by that? And she said, like, no, you're good at what you do. It's not that. But I think what she meant, and I think sometimes, as crazy as this is going to sound, I think sometimes with Jess, because she is so like, it's emotional for her. Like she, you know what I mean? In front of the world, she had to figure this job out, figure out a restructuring, deal with all the like, Jess comes from a world of social media, right? So like everybody has a comment. Everybody has something to say. She's in it with this person on social media and she might not even be in it. She might not even be saying nothing, but like this person don't like her. So they saying things and I'm starting to learn. Like as I started to see that, I'm like, oh, that's why you was reposting me so much. And that's why and I'm like, I don't fool with that. Cause if you don't like me outside of your disdain for her, you don't like me for real. Like I don't got nothing to do with that. But she comes from a world of like the reaction and like the emotion and that's what works on social. That's what you guys saw on Instagram Live. That's what she is used to having to do, where like how her brand and her world works. But like, I really don't think that like Jess, I don't think that she meant, like I think Jess knows that I'm good at what I do and that opportunities and doors would have opened for me despite her doing what she did. But what I think she was trying to say is that she didn't stand in the way of that happening. And she could have said, no, I don't want no other girl up here. She could have said that. And to be fair, the station, and this is just my opinion on it, but if it was me and I was like, you know what I mean, roles reverse, if I said that to the station, I would have expected them to honor what I was saying, but she didn't do that. And I think that's what she meant by it.
Yeah, I do too. No, I took it that way too. That's why I wanted to clear that part up. Do you feel like you overtalk people?
Yes, I do, child. I do, 100%, 100%. And now it's like a joke, but I really be in real time like, oh shoot, I really be doing that. But I come from TMZ. You gotta listen. It's fight or flight in there.
Yeah,
you gotta fight for your words. You gotta fight for your everything. So I'm not used to being in a space where they like, it's okay, you're here. Like, I'm not used to that. And I also, for people and like the world actually cares and like all that, all this is new for me. So I'm learning as I'm going, but I feel like I'm getting a lot better and doing a lot better at it.
I think you're excellent. I'm very, as you know, I don't give everyone their flowers if it's not deserving because not everyone, and there's no shade, not everyone is excellent at what they do. Some people are just getting by and that's cute. You know, get your check and we'll see where you are in 5 years. What I appreciate about you is you did the work. You are a true journalist.
Yeah.
You really fact check. You really contact sources. You know, you just don't run with the narrative that's trending because it's popular. You try to get both sides of the story to have a balanced report. That takes skill set. That takes integrity. And that's why for me, listen, I'm a fan of the show. I'm a huge fan of Charlamagne. I know Envy. I love his wife, Gia. I always saw the four of you guys working together like a Black version of The View, you know, where it's like four different point of views. I think you and Jess can coexist in that space. I think she's a wonderful at what she does being a comedian and joking. And the funny thing about Jess to me is, look, I think she also knows too, okay, I don't like to report the news because of these words I may not be able to enunciate. And like you said, that's not, she's a comedian in the social media. And I always looked at it like what you brought was something so credible to the journalist side of that program, right? And that's why I never understood why people try to pit you two against each other because I think you two are so special in your very individual ways. And that's why for me, when it comes to how things are now, I saw that you guys took a picture with Angie Martinez, who's like the legend of legends.
That's big sis.
Of females in radio. Did she reach out to you ladies to like have a conversation?
Not when everything was happening. No, like Angie is very like authentic. Like things just happen when they happen. She did say though to me when we shout out to Thea. Thea Mitchum is our program director at Power 105. So she is like, she's big boss. She's head of everything, Black woman. And she had this like Women's History Month event, and we were all there, and Jess came. But even before Jess got there, that was my first time seeing her after everything. And I had met her. There was like the moment I posted on my Instagram when I met her for the first time, and she was like, "You're doing so well," and I was like in tears because I'm like, "Girl, I read your book like 10 times. Like my life is designed around what your career was." So to hear you say that, it's like, wow. And we actually had gotten some time after that where we just sat, talked, ate, drank, just really talked. So we were personable. So when I saw her, I'm like, yo, I wanted to call you so bad, but I just didn't want to put all that on somebody else. And she was like, yo, I was going to call you too, but I just knew you was dealing with a lot, whatever. And she was like, and I told her, I'm like, yo, Jess is coming. And she was like, we'll talk. So, when everything, like once everything kind of subsided, me and Angie had started to talk. And when she was talking and stuff, she was saying, I'm like, no, wait, Jess need to hear this too. So I was like, Jess, come over here. So we just talked or whatever. And it was just very like, Angie's just like, she one of them ones where it's just like, you hear her and you feel her and because she's actually been through it, that like what she's saying is like she's not inserting herself because she wants to be a part of the story. And that was happening a lot. It was mad people calling me where I'm like, yo, how did you even get my number? Since when do we even know each other? Like, you ain't care about me before this? Like, what you calling me for? I'm not answering the phone for you. Like, you're not about to get me on the phone to talk about what? What we gonna say? Mm-hmm. Because I just didn't understand, like, why now? Like, I've been there. You know what I mean? Like, I think visibly, like you say, like visibly, people could tell that everything wasn't all peaches and cream. Why are you calling me now? You ain't calling to check on me like 2 months ago. So what's up? But with her, it's just so different. And the Boy Is Mine remake actually came about because when she posted that picture, the minute she posted it, somebody commented and was like, oh, y'all should remake Brandy and Monica, The Boy Is Mine. And we were joking, and she read it to us, and I was like, no. Wait, and Jess was like, yo, we should do that. And I was
That's
like,
the marketing matrix.
Yeah. But Jess is so good at like, she instantly like, she went on Amazon. I'm like, bro, you gotta she ordered the Monica shoes. She like, all right, this is what we gonna do. I'll rewrite the lyrics. Like she rewrote all the lyrics for us. And she was like, all right, bet we gonna do it tomorrow. I'm like, okay. Because once we do this, because I think that was like Thursday. That we shot it. So that was Wednesday that we had the event. It was Thursday we shot it. And then Friday it went up. And we both was just feeling like, yo, this has been a long week. Once this goes up, we are done with all this. Like, glad it happened. You know what I mean? Like, not glad like we wanted it to happen. But like, I do think that there were things that were expressed that like needed to be said. And that's one thing that I commend Jess about is like, even though, she wasn't in the best space about having to do that. But like, there were some things that I do think that like once we got it out and we talked about it all together, because me and her had conversations and, everybody has their conversations, but like all together and like super honest and not beating around the bush about things. It felt like all right, it's done now. We good. Like, cool. It's no like, we doing double that. Should I jump in? Should you? It's none of that. Like, even now, I feel like when you watch the show now, what you get is like genuinely like, nah, like I know when she gonna come in. I know like I'm waiting for her on certain things because like she Jess is crazy. Some of the stuff she says I would not say. Like, and then that triggers Charlamagne, and then boom, he goes, and then Envy comes in. Like, it's just now it's like the way that it's working is like we all swimming together. But I think it was like a beautiful, chaotic masterpiece that like might have just had to happen.
And how do you feel when people say that this whole thing was set up?
I feel publicity like I made it. I feel like I made it, okay? Like, you think I had to do a publicity stunt? You think that like somebody would even do a publicity stunt for me? Baby, I can't wait to tell my kids.
They think, there are people who think all of this was orchestrated, that the powers that be really set you guys up. And trust me, I get it being a reality producer. Carlos made sure these two women were,
Who are the powers that be that they think orchestrated?
Well, they think the folks at the Breakfast Club.
Who the folks? Carlos, say what you're saying.
The producers. They feel like you guys, you two women, were set up to have this beat because things weren't communicating the best way possible. I think that it was going to be good for ratings.
No. Like, when I say what, no. That's not, no. And I'm laughing because it's like, if you knew internally, like the way that like our leadership is like, mess is not what they're trying to do at all. I just think that this is something that definitely it naturally progressed, and it shouldn't have naturally progressed. I wish that it had been nipped before it got to like a public point that it did. But look, it happened, and it wasn't set up. It wasn't nothing. People think that we did this too because my podcast was about to drop. My podcast announcement was supposed to come out the week prior, but my art wasn't ready. Like I didn't like the show art, and I kept sending back things, and like their designer was like over me. So it just happened to push. That day that everything dropped, the 24th, my trailer was announced. I have emails from like the week before that saying like, okay, the new date will be the 24th. Like none of this was planned. It just happened. Like I was so shocked. I was on FaceTime with somebody when Jess went live, and people just started sending me the live. And then my cousin sent it, was like, well, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like, I'm thinking she on there going off, but I didn't think that I would be involved. Like, even though, like, you know, things is weird, because at the end of the day, like, me and Jess there's always a level of respect that we have for each other. And that's why I'm like, there's no way that people could have thought that, like, because people also think that I came in on some like, how can I, you know, dissect this and steal a job today? And it's like, no, that's not, like, there's a level of respect that I have for what she does and vice versa. So I never thought that, like, I would be the center of the conversation when she was live. And then I clicked on the live and I was like, what the fuck? Like, what is happening right now?
Did you get that gut punch? Did you, when Jess went live,
tight.
did you?
No, I didn't know. So I don't even know if people started sending it to me immediately. I don't know when I came in on the live, like if it was the beginning, the middle, or the end. I saw enough of it though. It was like I just was like, this is not happening right now. Like what? And I couldn't really get through it because people kept calling me. People were literally calling me. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to see what she's saying. Like, I'm trying to see, like, what, because based on what she's saying depends on the storm I'm about to have to deal with. Because there was so much conversation around us. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. And then the anger set in, and the like, but girl, I tried to avoid this set in. You know, it was mixed emotions. It was a lot of mixed emotions, like, that first night. Second day, I was just like, that morning I was still tight.
Yeah, because you didn't let her in the elevator. You closed the elevator door on her.
I didn't have no words.
I'm laughing because that's some real shit. That's why I was like, this ain't no publicity stuff. That's some real shit. Because we all been in the elevator and you hit door closed.
It's so weird because like when I think about it, I think about like how you ever argue with your spouse and it's like, oh, I hate you, but like I love you.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. It was like, oh my God, I'm so mad. Like why would you paint it to be like I'm in here on this conniving, like, girl, you know that it's not that, but it's just like, but like we've built, even if it was like a very weird, like, I don't know, like I can't describe it, but it was just very much like, yeah, but like, we're still here together though. And I don't even know how I feel about that. And I don't know what to say to you because I'm mad and I want to say some things, but like, is that going to make it better? And then it's like, I really just didn't know how I felt. And I thought I was cool. And then I got there and we pulled up at the same time. And I'm like, of all days for us to pull up at the same time. So I was like, nah, we're not doing this. We're not about to get in this elevator. Like, see you when you get up there.
And y'all first time talking was live on air.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all didn't even have like a prior meeting about it, no?
I didn't have no words.
Yeah.
It took me some time. I do praise and worship every morning, like 7 days a week. But I had to pray about it a lot. I think I prayed that morning like 3 times because I was just like, God, like, you know my intentions. You know what my intentions were. You know that I've done the best to display my intentions. So I just pray right now that like my words, my actions, my tone of voice, my body language, everything just best displays my intention. Because what I don't want to do and what I've always said is like, I don't want to be a burden to another Black woman. Like I've been in a space where I've done that. Like I've had my issues with the girls and you know what I mean? Like I think people talk about women empowerment. They leave out the part where it's like, sometimes I might not like, I just might not, woman or not. And that's fine as well. But there's always a level of respect that I, at this age in my life, because of things I've been through, I want to keep. And that's how I felt about it. It's like, wow, okay, we're on air. The world is going to be watching. I feel away, but there is a level of respect and understanding for what she's saying. Because my situation behind the scenes ain't all perfect neither. We're trying to figure out my life in here. I've had to walk on eggshells. I've had to, sit back and be like, okay, all right. Whew, that wasn't expected, but I'm going to deal with it. Like, even when the first segment when they were talking and Jess was talking to the guys and she broke down crying, I was watching the segment and I'm still mad. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get on air. And she broke down crying. I'm like, oh. Got up. The producer's like, where are you going? I'm like, she's crying. You think I'm just leave? Like, so I go, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's such a weird, like, thing. But it's literally like when you're dealing with a spouse where it's like, yo, I hate you, or I'm mad at you, or I'm angry about what just happened. But at the end of the day, there's still this relationship there where it's like, that's bigger than anything. We grown as hell. Things happen. Like, I'm not tripping. And I'm so blessed right now. Like, all of the blessings that I've received while being in that space, not even just in the chair, but just being in that room, I'm like, God would be so disappointed at me if I just allowed all of the BS to set in right now. Because I've been so blessed and I'm going to continue to be blessed. So right now it's not about me. And because I can understand that, blessings are going to overflow. Oh, thank you.
No, that's how it works. That's how it works. You're so mature. That's how it works. I tell people all the time, number one is attention. Number two, God doesn't bless you when he sees you operating with bad intentions. And when you have the power of your voice and you use it to go against somebody with bad intentions, is going to blow up in your face. So the fact that you understood that even in the midst of like, oh, I'm angry, I want to be in there, but you knew to still offer grace. How is your relationship with Jess today? That's
my dog. Like, we good. Like, it's what it's supposed to be. Like, it's, I think that there's still gonna be things that we figure out, but I think now it's not like a okay, let's talk and figure this out, and like, or let's tiptoe around what's happening because of that mutual respect. Now it's like, girl, bitch, come here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it is what it is. It is what it should be. Like, that's my dog. We work together. You can't tell me nothing about Jess Hilarious. And I would hope that that's how she reciprocates the same energy. You know what I'm saying? But like, when it comes to me, it's like, even if there is another issue, and this is how I've been carrying it from day one, what happens at home stays at home. And it's always going to be like that for me. And there's nothing happening right now, but I'm just saying that to say that, like, you not going to get too much up out of me about anything when it comes to her, Envy, Charlemagne, like, you know what I mean? That's family now. Like, we really do this every single day. It's us versus the world. It's us making change and conversation in the world together every single day. So that's what I'm on, and that's where she's at. And that's what Justice will be doing.
And now you have a new podcast called The Latest with Loren LaRosa.
Yes.
That's a part of Charlemagne's podcast network, The Black Effect. So let us know what that's about. How often does it drop?
Okay.
Where can we subscribe to and everything else?
So The Latest with Loren LaRosa is a daily podcast. It's like...
Is it every day?
I'm going there when I leave here. That's a hustle, right? Yeah, like, I'm going there. I'm so tired. So it's The Latest with Loren LaRosa. It's a daily podcast. It is with iHeart and the Black Effect Podcast Network, which is owned by Charlemagne. So every single day we drop 6 a.m. It's 12 to 15 minutes, so it's very bite-sized, but it's like, here's what's happening. Here's what you should know to start your day. Here's my opinion on it. It's really like a Kiki with your homegirl who knows a little bit about everything and everybody. And good sources, good fashion, good conversation. That's what it's giving. Monday through Friday.
Wow, that's amazing. And you're single.
Yeah.
You just got out of an 18-year relationship.
18.
15?
11.
11-year relationship.
I'm like a year, 2 years removed now, though, but.
Yeah. Do y'all still keep in contact?
About what?
Did he cheat on you?
He did, but that's not why we broke up.
Did he have a baby on you?
He did, but that's not why we broke up.
Why y'all break up?
I outgrew the situation eventually. Like, I think all of the trying to make it work from all of that stuff and just I don't know, I just woke up one day and I was just like, this doesn't really motivate me and inspire me. And I love him. Like, to this day, I still have so much love for him. It's like he family, sort of, but we don't need to talk. But there's love for him, but it's just like, this is not where I need to be. This is not pushing me to be better. It just, whatever. And I actually thought that we would take a break and, life would set in and he would be able to focus on himself. Because I always felt like he was so focused on me that he didn't figure out his own stuff. And I felt like if he figured out his own stuff and like had like his center, like, okay, this is who I am. Things would be better for us. So I wanted him to just, go do that. And then it just got so ugly and so disrespectful toward the end where I was like, oh, okay, now I got to show you, like, who you talking to? Like, what's going on here? Are you confused? Because I'm not. I know what's happening. So it was like, okay, I'm not spinning this block ever again. We have nothing to talk about.
And you left him behind.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I was going to say, I don't know if it's behind. Like, that sounds so mean, but it is what it is.
It's fine. But I'm going to tell you what someone told me. He gets to see you on TV every day.
Oh, period. Happy woman.
So what type of man you looking for, girl? Because there's some single men watching this. Shoot your shot. It's your camera.
Well, first of all, I'm looking for a man that, like, I don't have to shoot my shot at. I think that the shot should be coming from your way. But you will know that I'm interested. I'm looking for someone who is very reassuring, definitely a leader. I think that I take care of everybody in my life. So somebody that, like, doesn't mind being like, yo, relax, let me take care of you. Sweetheart has to be very romantic, very charming, tall, love chocolate, love great smiles.
You want a Libra then?
I don't know about a Libra. I think.
Have you had a Libra?
What birthday is that?
That's September 23rd through October 22nd.
No, I haven't. I haven't had.
You're describing a Libra. I'm a Libra.
Okay.
What are you?
I'm on the cusp of Scorpio and Sag. What sign is like
who?
April 9th?
That's an Aries.
Oh, okay. I like them.
So the guy you're dating right now is April 9th?
I don't know, but I like it over there.
Okay.
I like it over there.
Okay, so look, I want to say this to you before I let you go, and I do mean this. I am extremely proud of you.
Thank you.
I've said this to you privately, but I want to say it publicly. You are the future of female journalists in this business, not just Black. You are the future of female journalists in this business. You opened up a space that was voided for years because nobody wants to do the work. Nobody wants to lead with integrity. People nowadays do clickbait. They will literally make up a story just because they want to be able to get the clicks. So I appreciate that you growing up in this social media world has the integrity to say, this is the story that's out there, but let me tell you guys what this other side of it may be. I'm not choosing a side. I'm reporting the facts on both sides. And I want to say to you, thank you for doing that, because that's a rarity in this social media ran business in 2025. I'm immensely proud of you. And my other advice to you is this. Not saying you're doing this. Don't feed into the hype of people loving you online.
Child.
Because in this world, and this is your big brother again, they build you up to tear you down. Mm-hmm. People want to see you win, but they don't want to see you win beyond their expectations of you.
Right.
So you have a lot of people on your side, and that's great. Don't let that get to your head.
Yeah.
Don't believe it, because those same people, once you keep growing and growing and growing, they're going to say, now, hold on now. She's doing too much. She's doing too much. She's trying to be like that person. And then they are going to try to bring you down. So my advice to you is, as you're receiving all of this love, know that it's nice, but it can turn tomorrow.
Yeah.
So don't feed into it.
I was just saying that earlier. I literally was just saying that earlier. Like, that's one of the, I think about that every day. Like, yo, all this is cute, but like, where y'all come from? Like, that's, my biggest prayer every day when I pray is just like, God, like, keep me to the point where like, I'm just focused on doing the work.
Yeah.
And like, everything else is just, it's a plus as it needs to be. But when it's not there, I won't be affected because I'm good.
Good. Well, thank you for coming on Reality with the King. That wasn't bad.
Thank you. No, child. I know how you're going to clip this up. It's going to be like, Loren, tears. Dun, dun, dun. It's going to be like, well, when Jess was on maternity leave, tears. When she, tears. And I'll be like, hold on, because let me fix my titties because the man is here. And April 9th. Who is April 9th?
Now you're doing my trailer. That's exactly how it's going to be.
Just collab me and get me good. Make sure I look good. Make sure I look good. Make sure the angles is good, okay?
Thank you, baby doll. I had so much fun.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you.